Whereas scale is beginning to, or pursuit of scale is beginning to push us to reimagine. If what we are doing now is not reaching enough children in a sustainable, not getting married to the human, particularly when we are working with complex systemic challenges like access to quality in learning. And related to that, our other insight is that scale is not about scaling the soup. It is about scaling impact. And sometimes this requires optimal coordination of what already exists in order for us to achieve. This is exactly what we're hoping will get out of the processes with us. That if we achieve the proper connection with trust and understanding that human beings are the ones like behind all of these initiatives, and that if these human beings connect with one another, the trust, we achieve this optimal coordination, and that could be the thing that led us to this challenge, and not find ourselves supporting the same thing, same people, and leaving a huge number of people behind. And not to mention leaving a huge number of children that we are not behind. And scaling is a journey of systems transformation, not just solutions innovation. So you need solutions innovation. You need to come up with more and more innovation. How might we reach more parents of children who are excluded? How might we need more and more program solutions innovation? But all solutions remain unsustainable and superficial if they continue to exist on a system that isn't successfully sort of embedding them into the lifeblood of the system. Scale is not just increasing the impact of solution, it is also about reducing the size of the problem. So you can continue to increase the solution to make sure that it matches the problem you are trying to solve, or a collection of solutions, but you also need to work on those parts of the system that will reduce the size of it, like regulation, like legislation, like policy. And a scaling culture requires curiosity, commitment to quick learning cycles. The big thing in Smart Start at the moment is experimentation. How could we learn quickly? How could we confirm our assumptions quickly so that we move out of getting committed to an assumption for too long, while actually that assumption is never proven? And so that we contribute different know-how into the system, we learn together, and that we remain dogged on it. So that when we do our next 5x5 as a country, we should see how we have learned from what the last time told us, so that we move forward with a greater possibility of better child outcomes for those we are currently reaching, but also reaching more children, and for those that we are not currently reaching. These are the things we learn from scale. And based on these lessons, it really not makes sense for us to continue to build a network that is closed and make that network even more and more successful, and start comparing child outcomes that come out of that network with others without doing anything about enabling and supporting predicting the system, so that there is collective success, and that more importantly, we get to universal access to quality, maybe by 2030, maybe by 2035, but that we are moving in the direction of that air traffic controller that Giles was sharing with us just now, and bringing all of what we are good at in a coordinated fashion, not in a rigid fashion, because relationships hope that bringing you together today is going to help with those connections. Next slide, please. I think this is my last one, and we'll be able to. So, while we've come a long way since 2020, while we have this powerful movement of all of the things that I spoke about in the beginning, all of the things that we've achieved, and we probably run the biggest risk right now because we're so close that we might miss this opportunity unless we do something. There is still much more we want to do together. To move from scalable innovations, including system innovations, to whole system transformation. That's what children in South Africa. A whole systems transformation. We worry ourselves about little children between the ages of 0 and 5 now. But we enter in a whole system transformation mindset. We should be worrying ourselves about little children, not little children, young people who are 15 years old and a few years from now. And the extent to which we've kept them in school, we've kept them interested, loved, and inspired by the education system. If we just continue to see this as a whole system. And I think that what we need to target most is the mental models that are going to us. Some of the mental models say it's much, much better for us to focus on higher education because then we have employable people that are going to put in jobs. When in fact, we all agree that to get those employable people, being even more employable than they are all, being creators of employment, we need to spend a bit more time in the early years preparing young children for life success. And some of the mental models are that there's no way that you can get love and care and stimulation in the shed. When actually there is evidence that shows that if you bring love, proper care and support, lots of talking and language, and proper network of connection and so on, in any setting, you can get child outcomes. There's many, many other mental models. There's a lot that we still need to solve. David was showing the municipal system that continues to lag behind. And you're not going to be able to get it right because a lot of our energies are moving in different directions. Could we come together? Could we use this moment to collectively bring all of these energies and attract a few more? Could we attract the agriculture sector to help with helping us with the solution, nutrition in this? Could we bring the infrastructure sector, the construction industry, to help with solving the problem of shifting people from bronze to silver? Could we just challenge a mindset that says we will not move government money unless something is in place? And that is hard to achieve. Could we just put some of those things on their way and reimagine differently so that universal access is constant? Thank you.
Thank you so much to get highlighting the different roles of NGOs, large and small organizations, and the overall system at large. Also, of course, all of us working together, because at the end of the day, collaboration really is bigger than just any one organization. So, we've been speaking about our systems, children, real families, and real communities. Quality over that learning access children need environments, responsive adults, and of course they need nutrition. And look at nutrition for earlier. What works, what breaks it, what partnership, how most excellent kids. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me as welcome the moderator. Those together, we want Together with Brian now, Ozzy now, Dr. Edzani Hamfuni, Jessica Renarson. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the most wonderful applause. Lisa, we will ask you to actually sit on this end, not facilitator, to make join me on stage. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure if it's still waiting for some visual mics.
Yes.
While we're waiting for everybody to get mics up, I'll just introduce the panel. Next to me is Dr. Zami Kwili. She's the Executive Director of Growth Rates. And she's also a subject health nursing specialist. And Growth Rate works specifically in the first organization of pregnancy, which means more care workers. Great, trying to train good. Then we also have easy because has a background in hospitality, gives them wisdom to be leaders, making people make office, and it's one is navigating the streams, and he's also helped grow his office into and one days. Please get that this one. She said, yeah, I would do one day. Yeah. Civil society guys. Join me in welcoming. I'm very excited on this panel. I'm myself. You just be the whole plan. So really excited. And this here today, we're going to talk about something really important. Early learning is happening without that is to discuss today. So not only you make the consistency to actually ensure that it it's like it's what we tell me. Keep doing this something that's reaching the community is understand as reaching a child. The food reaching a child is also kitchen. And food is decentralized, the same as food reach children. We really need to make a confidence. I want to start with asking each leader believe overview. This is your organization. The most have it's trying to solve it. As long as it's not. Any units of it? Good morning. I'm warm. Like the snow that never came into effect. I am a medical doctor. So let me start with the thing that is not enough in medical school. The condition on child brain power. Child stunting is when a child is too short because they don't receive enough food that they need in the earliest years of their life. You see, there is no ward in any hospital for stunted children. No child is ever, and no mother ever runs into a casualty carrying a stunted child. It's the only crisis, the only medical crisis in this country. White silence. It is not just a medical crisis, it's an early childhood crisis because children without brain power are dead. And by the time many of us see it, the window of opportunity will be closed. So 80% of a child's brain has completed its development of the base. Before a child walks into a she even hears the word crash before she holds a crayon. This is a sign of what is at stake. The brain. And many children in South Africa have that. Those are small numbers. But they're not the point. The point is stunting is what stunting actually. It doesn't just make children short. Too short on the way. It changes the architecture of a brain and it lowers what you learn. Stunting kill a child. And it actually kills the adult that child is supposed to become. It kills their potential. So growth rate works in the only where stunting is still reversible. The first 4,000 days. The time from pregnancy up until a child is 2 years. A space that many of us in this room maybe not in, because we talk about daily progress. The growth rate of pregnant women and mothers to empower them to know that their child's first need milk that they produce, the child food. In fact, the child is there before the child is born, because whatever the mother is. We teach them that they are child first and the child. Everything that the child will ever learn comes from the generations. And the child doesn't need with the new when a little child is not taught that kind of way. And then for example, you're going to give us a chance to use. And we also empower the health system. We empowering schedules and take measures going to schools and find the children that is might have never seen. The growth rate In this ecosystem, we really want to make sure that this ecosystem is not trying to always feed each other these sectors with knowledge, but also we should be trying to reach them before the damage to their brain arrives. Only what you can enable this ecosystem. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So since you are running a research program called Countries, we focus on Constellations of 1.6 child development centers, distributing of pre-packed meals. We have 3 branches around the country that we have a district national. We have the essentially receiving the meals that we give to the cities, different savings. And we're just the point that and first of all, apologize for myself personally. I am very really a data systems person. Keep passion to remember as much as I can. But I mean, just looking at the room. I would say, yes, one of my nation. We specialize in, it's not always reliable. We've got to fix that because okay, okay, right, issues we can generate first. Interestingly, what I've observed I had the privilege program. And the two things that really feel like was that critical relationship with the teacher wasn't put on. And the other two things that I would not forget was I watched the 3-year-old the concentration child and how much you could remember. I thought to myself, that is incredible. And again, was not for myself, was fascinated when I went to the most people were pictures. And it said to me that we have a system that works, stable, and it's inclusive that they have any time. The last thing I was again with it is that something I was finding was that a lot of these paths with critical trust in the community. We must not underestimate what a thriving small really jobs integrate that trust that there's that need that is a fighting where they go.
That's a video you just tell this. Yes.
Thank you. So encouraging to be with people, friends, colleagues, and yeah, advocates against children. I'm really proud to be with a social worker in this panel today because I rewind about 15 years. Social workers are not only considering the problem Just you have to ask me an issue. This is moment when I realized I needed to make it my business to understand that these women and Japanese men exactly years ago. Yeah. To really see the first 1,000 days as such a foundation works very closely to support to feeding a current maintain because of our connection. We start to leverage the ecosystem through the value that you can see. That's not all. We've also been in education space, and I think that's been something I'm very proud to contribute to that local community models and corporate logistics system. Human foundation because you in different ways. More further.
You work there. So firstly, you need all the so what is the question for this good the first number of days? Thanks, Susan. Teaching the best days. It is the child who is outside in we know structure already exists, and that is the mother. She is first pushing that exists, that already said. And Africa doesn't be other. We have and if we bypass it, then no problem is the child. And the question is to show that she's able to serve. She needs she needs especially and that's why it's good for them because my the mother without food with the child is a mother who will give up with power to reach that mother's food because she gets secondly, when she does deliver the child in the first 6 months of life, she needs to be breastfed. So she needs she's not where the next meal is coming. Also know that mom don't and we all want children who are learning and that's about it's about learning it's a learning intervention where a child is being thinking looking at what they eat and how human beings interact. Secondly, it's complementary feeding when the child is to start consistency. and it's not shopping lists or a full trolley full of food. It's another understanding that the baby has needs full of air, full a small bowl of products. But it's really understand that the food that you have can go everywhere. Sometimes the mom that because the child support grant, she's getting, she's lucky and getting it. It's below 2.5. The patient child support grant can be able to afford and for a child, especially the who's that's basically what mission looks like. It is the child.
Thanks, and you say focus on the mother, and you also know that the moms are really what's that? So I want to
I've always wanted to
Who's this speaking? YouTube.
The thing is that the real thing is scale is equal to so we are able to invest it rather than different companies food, it's very big one for all as a family. Yeah, well, the seasonality for I think it's more it's like for conversations to yeah, nice approach. But you're right. There are so many child-led houses in South Africa, rural areas, don't have necessarily access to some of our community-based schools. What I love about this is teach people to focus on their teachers. We're going to find some rising stars and through visualization. We get all the incredible things. They can understand. It's a harvest. I do also think about you. But there needs to be a baseline that people would do at least on a daily basis.
I'm going to come back later. Just seems.
It's essentially the two programs, the one we call ECD Connect, and those are ECDs that we distribute directly to. So we've got a whole team of distribution officers that will go out on a daily basis, and we distribute to them on a 4 to 6 week cycle, which also is really helpful for capturing the monitoring. Take on more calls. A lot of this is a bit that you see in space. And perhaps they're focusing more on teacher training or infrastructure, all like that. Also redistribute it all to them and they can use on behalf. Everything is meals of the shelf life. It's simply some of these challenges because then. And it's sort of there, and it's really.
Okay. Actually, it's good that what do you use? I just want to ask you, so, do you know large districts, school districts? How do you see models like one that supporting access to food and supporting organizations like Run Kids Up Here, like Kids and Fathers, like other people using.
I think what's interesting to understand is that Union has been able to leverage existing distribution networks to gain equipment close to way. That's where it's critical to partner similarly to the way Rising Against Hunger has partnered actually with the ecosystem. Rising. And monitoring, especially when you deal with cases. Understand, but also resource. The big question is, and I think that's where more have been successful in linking with RCL of the new foundation. So that truck that's already going from Ramsden into Eastern Cape, we're going to leverage it and piggyback. The business it's not created a shared then. This network trucks were in space. The maybe its objectives as we, and so finding that takes relationship building and good that ecosystem function, and so we understand what even to the point of ordering on time, because impact said that child with adequate time with leverage to happen. One other system that we've leveraged is actually warehousing space. And partnering with the likes of SPA has been helpful space and the other our communities with relationships. Conversations around those interconnections, not seeing it for what it is, but really directing that to success. And we focus on saying rights of excellence and rights of excellence. It's definitely not.
Thanks, everyone. Interested to see what partnerships can unlock. Next.
Where's my video in backstage? The difference. This one. Yeah, this one is weird.
Looks like
It's not supposed to be on the screen.
and one had video. What is created to
and there are organizations like Global Fund Children, known for these organizations where we can really find get into the council. One out how to solve together. How do we to bring children what they saw access to become the reality? I think that's very critical. And in terms of real integration, for the first one, regulate, the practitioner uses the child, and the train uses the child, maybe the part in the means. Although the movement is never orientation. How do we get the what is that surviving? More work the element programs to provide the nutrition information that's required. And the child is also programs. For nutrition in any level. There's a learning practitioner can learn the skill of basic growth monitoring. That all of a sudden multiplies the four clinics that we have into tens of thousands of surveillance centers, where we can inspire children who are also
Yes, in the
is being up. The child belongs to health, P25 belongs to education, grant belongs to social development, but the child is one child. It belongs to the programs plus this one other days. What is really is ourselves as a continuum. We moving, we all running a relay race where nobody is agreed. That is the problem.
You spoke about vision and engagement. Just want to ask you to talk to us about how the nutrition make sure that people are doing, are you doing only, are you doing and how can that help solve some of this problem to really integrate? Basically, practitioners also have knowledge what practitioners. Here is your knowledge about what could be
The Dual Foundation has programs called the 11 Faithful. And has state trained practitioners to run parent programs. Rather than Dual Foundation, our partners finding into centers and running the programs themselves, really using to have a conversation. What has the scripts? Facilitating skills and they I said nutrition is and that these messages are not complicated. The simplest remove the make it let's play ECD, let's make nutrition accessible. We have the most incredible routine. Of wanting to read to practitioners often say we're so grateful. Things like to build what a place you work outside your energy and play. And so it's been really remarkable and see the linkage so in making some program and to feel that the mental health is there to make how parents to but she has a problem. And it would be a problem. I think it was there's different, each of the committed something that's a huge really rather than making nutrition it and style.
So I feel like the meeting is fun. And not just continue to look building good. Well, I want to go back to you, earlier, it's food up to the so what are some of the things that you think needs to sure that rescues of the nutritionist aspect of
Next, yeah, I think these with the agenda of representing what is good as I think we win that award starting innovation. I want to see, you know, I'm mentioning that is because what I realized, even at was future was that we that extra help not like say that, which is so important. And some of the realized part of last year, I was the young example in the round of the correct around as very common where we can use it more intentional. So we have here instead of kids in this area, this is what we're going to cultivate. This is small. I think that we're going to make it. It is okay with that. And at gross level, the piece of it using the ground.
That's very good. You can take from this. I want you now to Brian, when you talk about so you have this rather than trying to twist together based on the okay. So your model
I know that.
Yeah, so the commission is very well, obviously, the scale, from a point from so The other partnerships are the
The great work. The choice partnership. And what essentially what avoid with what reading. What do you want moving on?
So it's great we partner with the government, specifically the Department of Health, around nutrition and how to because it's like don't forget when government in the year they didn't see growth. So they are all from capital. So they are all houses. And there's no an organization that will come help them to give. That's important. You need to look at the results really what already works. Works. What that's so well. It with our beautiful, appreciates, love to do. And so you know, say, understood that the ground is that those we work, you need to be. And integration comes at a cost. The cost of your to the group of people, at the cost of the program. The other is and your program has to be a company. So if you a campaign, you can company. You should all the one or two with the report.
Does that sound good?
Well, when you publish to be very good, what is the students, who will it be with? What we can need from them?
This is going to sound staged, but I would say it's absolutely the collective that I'm finding myself in right now. I think it's real potential in this room. We won't miss this.
I've just seen an update flash now, and you see this. Just because, and last week, just for the group, just don't need to, I guess, keep us happy. It was Brian, you mentioned before that we shouldn't work with the science. And if we look at the screen here, what it takes to unlock where see the word collaboration coming up. I want to ask each of you, just to be very short, what does collaboration look like? If you want to integrate nutrition in really good.
So specifically on the nutrition side, all those organizations involved in providing nutrition to our reflectors and open source impact. We need to stop that. We're encouraged to get flowers and work with doing around mapping different programs. We've been mapping exactly which ECD are distributed to, doing the breakfast, lunch, and how many children is one of the things. Because at the moment, none of us know who we're distributing to. And some ECDs are sounds strange, but we've over-resourced, but there's so many that are just under-resourced and have nothing. But we don't know because we're not collectively sharing impact data.
Thanks. Thanks, Mark. Great. Closing and engagement.
Yeah, to echo what Brian said, I believe open source impact is essential. And one layer we can add to that, which we mentioned in our digital platform, is we actually brought in the RDA category. So we basically function the way to get the organizations.
Thank you, Gavin.
I think for me, it's definitely the roles of conflict. I think actually a lot of the mental barriers that we often have, get to understand one another, to find those levers and opportunities, and then, I say it, you do know that the practitioners belong to us, or that an area belongs to a certain feeder or a partner, but I think that is part of it. It's part of seeing the system as a whole and not just we own the space where, so that we can be responsible feeders that don't create dependency, but offer opportunity.
Yeah. I'd say let's really see ourselves as an ecosystem. And let's not only see ourselves as an ecosystem, let's be an ecosystem. And the real continuum that starts in pregnancy when a child is going to figure it out. And all the pregnant to get a support, a maternal support grant that enables her to be able to grow a baby inside her who has the brain power that will make it a learning process.
But I hope it is part of the conversation about it. I think this will be one very
Literally, session, my poor commentator. Yeah, thank you so much to take away from that. And this, which we don't forget, and then those will be answered at the end of the day. So before we continue, we're actually going to take a very short break, 20 minutes, to stretch our legs, refill our teacups, and then be back right here. Can I ask that the next panel, please actually come just 10 minutes before the break ends, so you can get going. It's 10 to 12. But if you're deliberative about the next 20 minutes, and keep these incredible, fascinating conversations going. Thank you.
Interesting.
How are you doing?
Let's get in there. No, it's just the internet that's bad in this room. You have it. Oops.
Me. I'm going to go to the game. There's nothing in here that you can't see.
It's still a woman's bag.
I still have 45 minutes conversation.
No, only 30.
Yeah, we're just gonna connect a little bit from lunch. All right. We're running late. Those are some minutes. Too long. Do you want to make it? They're already done. I will leave. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay. So what are we estimating? Hold on. Let me just. Oh, you need. No, just two. Yeah. Just two is next. Let me just check. That's brilliant. So beautiful. I love so anxious. So
What happens?
Ruby on just Ruby on the resource panel. Okay. Not doing.